welcome back everyone. As you can see, I've changed my settings to an outside beautiful porch, and we've upgraded. We actually have a camera person. My sister is sitting behind the iPad today, so I'm very thankful she's going to videotape this. So this is the first time we're doing this, so bear with us. Hopefully it comes out well, and I appreciate the help and the support. I thought today we'd just do an all-body workout, focus a little bit on the hips. We'll concentrate a little bit on downward dog. We'll use the banister here just to kind of give you a sense of form and shape, which will help you better on the mat. So let's go ahead and get started. So take a moment. As always, if you have a block, a book can work, or a foam roller, take it, lift up your seat, and then place your seat back down on the block with the sit bones, those bones that we know are based right at the seat where the hamstrings insert, just on the leading edge of the block. This helps your spine form a more neutral position, especially in the lower back, and it helps open up your heart space and helps you externally rotate your shoulders. So let your hands rest comfortably and close your eyes if you'd like. Remember, this is your practice. So as we move through, there's an area that you want to concentrate on, hit the stop button. Pause it for a couple moments, breathe into that space, hit start. Take a deep full breath. We'll take a moment here to allow the body just to settle in and transition from whatever activities you were doing up until this point, and to allow that smooth transition from that to your time on the mat. Taking some offerings of deep rounds of breath, and as we know, we have that option of breathing through the nose or the mouth and breathing as deeply into the body space as we can. Kind of visualize that space between the belly button and the upper portion of your pelvis as that target zone for your breath, allowing that to activate that parasympathetic nerve system, which takes us to that more tranquil state. Taking some deep rounds of breath. Just let your shoulders be soft. Don't worry about that yet. We'll focus on the alignment of the body in just a moment. Offering that breath. And remember, an audible breath is okay. If you breathe and work on that ujjayi breath, victorious breath, that is an audible breath. That is in and out through the nose with that gentle closing of the mouth, and even a little bit of engagement in the back of the throat. It gives you almost a humming sound. Helps detox the body and build up heat, and it certainly allows the body to move with a little bit more rhythm as you breathe and move through the practice. We'll take our lower abdominal region and we'll start to engage the lower belly as we move the belly button back into the spine. We have our friend Slater here. And then as you move that belly button in towards the spine, slowly begin to offer it up towards the heart. This action, as we know, is called Uddiyana Bandha. Bandha translated means lock, so we begin to lock in the energy in our bodies. Move the shoulders back and apart, move the ribs back. Sit as tall as you can, as almost an imaginary wall has been placed behind your back. Continuing to offer those deep rounds of breath. And even in those early stages of the practice, that smooth transition can start to allow that body to reach more of a tranquil state. We'll take a moment here to set the intention of the practice. An intention is something that we put on our practice as a foundation, as a dedication, as something that possibly motivates us to move through our practice. And I'll help with that as we set a group intention of moving the body in a mindful, respectful way. Moving it, honoring the practice, and as we move our bodies down that path towards a greater sense of well-being. Your personal intention as well. Place the left hand in front of the heart space and allow the hand to gently move in so we feel that space beneath the skin. Right hand follows. Gently allow this heart space, the chest, to move into the palm so you make that connection. We'll take a deep full breath here, and as we exhale, we'll simply bow our heads to our heart. From that place, we lift our chin and simply reach your hands out to a T position, palms facing down. And just kind of squeeze your fingers in and out a little bit. Just start to awaken the body and move that energy inside, squeezing the palms. And then start to move the fingers up and pull the fingers down, bringing some flexion and extension to the wrists. Just kind of do this a few more times, allowing this simple movement to connect the body and movement of the breath through the body. And then from there, let's end with the palms facing down, and then flip the palms up, flip the palms down, flip the palms up, flip the palms down. Do this a few more times, just allowing the shoulder girdle to move in a pattern of internal and external rotation, staying strong in the abdominal region, staying strong in the heart space, allowing those hips to move into the block so you feel that foundation of stability move through the rest of your body space. A couple more times. Allow not only the hands to move up and down, but allow the forearms and the biceps and the triceps to move in this movement of internal and external. And then we end with the palms up. Stretch the arms over your head. Simply interlace your fingertips and move the shoulders up towards your ears a little bit, and then move the shoulders back so your heart space opens. Simple lean to the left. Don't worry about how far you go. Just go enough to where you feel a little bit of lightness in that right hip, and then start to activate that right hip as you push it down into the block and you open that right rib cage. And then stretch back up and move it over towards the right as you open the left side, moving that left hip into the block. Come back into neutral. As you inhale, we'll lift the chest up, lift the arms up, lift your gaze up. As you exhale, move the palms down towards the heart space, stretching the fingertips out away from you, and pausing. Rounding your back, pulling your belly in. Feel those ribs begin to open up. Maybe stretch the fingers over towards the left a little bit. Coming back into neutral, stretching over towards the right a little bit. Now we're going to move here, start to work the upper body, work the spine a little bit, staying controlled and engaged in our abdominal region. So come back into that neutral position. Inhale, draw the arms up, stretch up, reach up. And then exhale, reach the hands back forward in front of the chest as you stretch and round your back. We'll do this a few more times. Just inhale, stretch up. Exhale, release and stretch forward. Starting to almost bring this movement of cat-cow into the spine as you breathe and start to move at a little quicker pace. Remember, it's your practice. Stop, pause, breathe into the movement. Do it about 3 more times. So inhale up for 3. Exhaling. Inhale up for 2. Exhaling. Inhale up for 3. And then big exhale, stretch. Bring the hands back into center. From that position, take your arms back out to a T. Palms face forward this time. Bend your elbows a little bit, move the shoulders back so that heart space is nice and open. Move the ribs back, move the belly back. Simple cross arms left over right. Breathe, exhale. Inhale, open up. Exhale, cross. Let's do it a few more times. Crossing each time. Breathing and moving. Starting to work a little bit deeper into the shoulders, going into the scapula, moving that energy into the thoracic area of the spine. Again, staying strong in your core. Just breathing and moving. Good. Let's do it 2 more times. Full rounds. It's okay to hold the posture, just don't hold your breath. Even from here on this side of the camera, I can see when you hold your breath. Good. Let's take the arms out. Take the arms up again. Release the hands into prayer position. Take a deep full breath. And exhale. As you can see, my friend Slater's here. Let's come to all fours, hands and knees. So as we move to hands and knees, allow the shoulders to rest directly over your wrists. Allow the knees to rest underneath your hips. We're going to do a simple cat-cow position here, and then we're going to start to work a little bit on that downward dog alignment. So spread the fingers wide, pull your belly in, pull your ribs in. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Always remember, to create that space, if you need a block, place the block between your thighs. Creates that internal rotation of the hips. Inhale, stretch the shoulders back, move your heart space forward, and then exhale, tuck the tailbone. Inhale. Now this next one, I'm going to pause on the exhale. Now I'm going to tuck my tailbone and I'm going to activate my hands. So I'm going to try to stretch the mat away from me to give me a little bit more flexion in my spine and stretch. At the same time, squeezing that block. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the inhale. Stretch the heart forward, tilting my pelvis forward, and then moving the shoulders back and taking my heart space forward. And again, squeezing that block actively. And then I come back into a neutral position. If you have the block, let's go ahead and release that. Just plop it off to the side. We're going to use that probably towards the end of class. From this position, step your right foot straight back. Now, from the shoulder girdle, push into the hands and round your upper back. From that right ball mound, push into the right thigh. So you want that thigh to be active. Simply take your right foot off the floor. From that position, you're going to push that right heel away from you. You're going to lift the chest and extend your left hand out. Palm faces the right. Stay focused on your breath. Try to capture that action of drawing in towards the midline and breathe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right leg stays lifted. Left hand comes down. From that point, bend that right knee. All we're going to do is work the hip flexors here in the psoas. Lift that right knee just enough to where you feel your glute activate and your hamstring and your thigh. Breathe. Stretch it out, place it on the floor, shift over towards the left. Roll to the sole of that right foot. Again, activating that left side body, left shoulder, left heel of the hand. Stretch the right arm up towards the sky. Stretch. Now from here, we're going to increase that energy on the right side. So push into the pinky side of your right foot. Let that activate that inner right thigh as you stretch the right arm over your right ear. And breathe. Take your left rib cage and move it into the right space and stretch. Just a couple rounds of breath here. Breathing fully. Remember, it's fine to hold the posture, just not your breath. Now, I know some of you out there want to get a little bit deeper, and that's absolutely fine. If you feel you're ready, simply take that right foot off the floor. Stay strong in your core to help stabilize you. And hold this posture, not your breath, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right hand down, right knee back to the floor. Inhale, look forward. As you exhale, let's step that left foot back and extend it through the left heel. Stretch it and breathe. Good. From that, we lift the left foot off the floor, pushing through that left heel. Right arm comes out, palm faces the left. Stretch, breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right hand comes down, left knee bends about 90 degrees. Lift that left hip up just a little bit. Feel the hamstring, feel the glute, feel the hip flexor, feel the thigh, and breathe. A couple rounds of breath. And then stretch that left leg long. Place the left foot on the floor. Shift to the right. Remember, that left side has to get really active. That right shoulder has to connect to the right heel of the hand. Lift up, get long, left arm comes up. Stretch. From there, let the left arm move over your left ear, moving the right rib cage into the left to get openness in the intercostal muscles and stretch. Now again, once you find the stability, perhaps that left foot comes off the floor. Stretch. Now if the left foot comes off the floor, spread your toes. Breathe. A couple rounds of breath. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left hand down, left knee back. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, chin to chest. Back into your neutral position. Now, before we work ourselves over to the railing here, I want to use a little bit of core work. So, re-engage, tuck your toesies under, lift your knees about 4 inches off the floor. But you want to have some lightness, some buoyancy in your body. Don't clamp down, don't get too rigid. Find lightness. You'll take a breath here, inhale, knees come down, exhale, slow release. Inhale, look forward, a little higher, maybe 6 inches. Again, finding that lightness and buoyancy in the body. Strong activation of the core. Inhale, knees down, exhale. Inhale, look forward. We go a little higher. Boom. Strong core, activating that center line of the body. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, knees down. Inhale, look forward. Exhale a little higher. This time, start to offer your upper back in a little bit. Get a little bit more like that downward dog shape, which will be our next posture. Strong core. Inhale. Knees down, exhale. Inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Stretch it back. Now, once you enter downward dog, remember, keep the knees bent. Protect the lower back from tighter hamstrings. Pedal your feet back and forth. We'll pause here for just a little bit, okay? Just to work the body in a little different position. Let your hands be engaged. Start to take your upper back in. Remember, we're tilting the pelvis forward. We're taking our hips and taking those sit bones up towards the sky. Getting strong and long in our abdominals and our upper back. Keeping the knees bent. Now, step the feet a little bit wider. A little bit wider. If you can, take your toes off the mat. Bend your knees a little bit. And simply walk your hands back towards your feet. And as you walk back towards your feet, let your heels come down. Hands are resting underneath the shoulders. And remember, we're internally rotating those thighs, so we're sticking our seat back to get length. And then from that position, hands rest underneath the shoulders and roll to your heels. Again, finding length in your spine, shoulders are back, and extend the heart forward. We'll hold this posture, not our breath, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ball mounds come down, right hand to the right thigh, left hand to the left thigh. Now, hips, knees, toes, all in alignment. Lift your upper back, almost coming to a back bend. A little bit of C action for your spine. Now, keep the seat moving back. We're going to work the upper back and the shoulders just a little bit before we come to standing. Left shoulder moves to the right foot. Stay above the knee plane. Back into your back bend. Right to left. We're just going to do a couple of these. If you'll notice, we're moving slowly from the top of the head all the way into the hips, all the way down to the soles of the feet. A couple more rounds. Breathing. Notice my legs are not moving. I'm going to turn profile or straight forward so you can see that my knees are not moving in or out. They are locked into place, protecting the stability of my joints. The only thing that I'm moving is my shoulders and my thoracic. Breathe. One more each side. Come into neutral. Breathe. Slowly use your hands, lift up, step the feet together, parallel the feet, shoulders are back, lift your chin. Take a moment in this posture to allow the body to accept this new position. Breathing, full cycles of breath. Taking a moment here to see what the body is offering. We've moved now for a few minutes, so we should have started to build some heat. Feel a little bit more space internally. Awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn around and step over here, and I'm going to ask Susan to get up and move over just a little bit so she can film me in profile. Now, some of you guys who take my class have done this with me before. but it's a great way to work on the development of your downward dog, refine it. At the same time, it's not quite as heavy on the body as an actual downward dog. Take your hands, you can do this against a wall, you can do it on a bookshelf, wherever you have the ability to align your shoulders at the same height with your hands. Now, you want to position your feet directly underneath your hips, okay? You want to be 90 degrees with the hips. Palms down. In this instance, my palms are going to be flat. I'm going to stretch my hips back. I'm going to externally rotate my shoulders. So I'm going to open my heart space in my upper back. My gaze is going to be straight down to the floor, not down towards my toes, not up towards what's in front of me, but straight down. A little bit of bend in the knees. So again, what we want to do is get our seat moving back, move those thighs back so we create space in our hips. This is exactly what downward dog is, but we're just doing it against a wall or a bookshelf, okay? Pull your belly in. Now the one thing we don't want to mimic is a big rounding of our lower back, so we don't want to crowd that spine and stretch. We want to tilt it forward, and you'll see as I start to move it forward, technically, anterior tilt of the pelvis, I get much more length in my spine. I'm activating my hamstrings much more. And we're going to breathe. Now you can take your toes, lift them off the floor, spread them as much as you can get them, and let's try a little trick. Place your big toe down first. So that activates the medial arch of the foot. Then put the other toes down slowly back onto the mat. So you've now activated the foundation of your posture simply by lifting your toes off the floor. Let's hold here for 5, for 4. Remember, tilt forward. Find length in the back body. Good. For 3, for 2. Now as I come out of this, I'm going to bend my knees a little bit, and I'm going to feel like I'm actually scooping my tailbone as I push the energy into my legs and not my lower back as I come back into a standing position. Now, before we come back to the mat and downward dog, we're going to do a little bit of half sun salutation. So I'm just going to position myself here, and we'll just do some half sun salutation. So as we know, this posture is called Tadasana Mountain Pose. Stability from the floor all the way up to the crown of the head. Feet are roughly parallel. Legs are strong. Remember, don't bend your knees. We don't want to take that knee joint into a locking position. So a little bit of softness in the knee joint. Shoulders are back. Stand tall. Chin is parallel to the floor. Shoulders move back so your heart space is open, your ribs are active, your core is active. So we'll inhale, take the arms over our head, stretch, get as long as you can, and as you fold, maybe the shins, maybe the floors. I'll take them to the shins for the first one. As you inhale, again, finding that length in your spine, rotating your pelvis forward, sticking your seat back, and exhale, folding. And as you inhale, incredibly important, lead with your heart and not your lower back. Stretch up, reach, and then hands come back into prayer position. Let's do that 2 more times, 3 more times, continual movement. Inhale up, exhale and fold. Maybe the shins, maybe the floor this time, bending the knees to absorb that. Inhale, look forward. Exhale and fold. Standing tall, inhale, stretch, leading with the heart, moving all the way up. Exhale, hands into prayer position. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, hands to side body. Inhale, arms up. This is known as Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, look off, forward, heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale and release. Inhale, stand tall, stretch up, breathe, and then back into heart center. For the last one, I'm going to count the breath. It's 6 breaths, so if that helps you as you move through your practice, if we're not doing it together, inhale is 1, exhale is 2, inhale is 3, exhale is 4, inhale is 5, And exhale is 6. Good. Release the hands. Now let's come straight into a downward dog posture. We're going to work a little bit of low lunges, refine that downward dog, and we'll go from there. So come on down, take a moment to find your downward dog position. You can certainly start on all fours if that helps, and taking a couple deep rounds of breath, tucking your toes under and then stretching it back into downward dog. Now, the activation is exactly what we did a few moments ago against the railing here. Move your seat back, bend the knees, stretch the shoulders back and open the heart. Now, from here, we're going to do a little bit of hip work. Step the feet together. Take that right leg up and back. Keep that left knee bent. We're going to bend that right knee, and we're going to open that right knee towards the left. Now, as you do, take that right thigh and feel like you're moving it away from the hip. Stretch it back. If you want, and you have the stability, lift the right palm off the floor to give you a little bit more space as you drop that right leg back and breathe. So you're nice and long on that right side. That left hip pulls back so you find length on that left side. Breathing. Now we're going to come into our first low lunge. So I'm going to slowly transition. So now I'm going to face you. Quick transition from the mat. Good. Now we're going to inhale, straighten that right leg. We're going to release that right palm back to the floor, and we're going to step that right foot outside the right hand. Left knee is going to come down. We're going to hands to hips, so we're in a wider stance here, which gives us more room in the pelvis. Shoulders are back. We're going to offer the arms up, stretch up, coming into cactus. Now, the tendency here is to move my ribs and arch my back, but I'm going to fix that by pulling my ribs back and pulling my belly back. And we're just going to breathe here. Move the head back as well for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms come back up. I'm going to take that left hand to my right knee. Now my right arm can move out here, and I can just take my gaze towards my right hand. That's a great little beginning of a twist. We want to go deeper. Stretch that right arm back. Keep the front body long. Keep the shoulders moving down, and maybe we follow with our eyes. Stretch. Breathe. Good. Sweep that right arm over. Right hand down, left leg down. Left knee lifts, right leg back, downward dog. Now, from here, take a breath, stretch, reconnect to your posture that we just were in. Left leg comes up, stretch, bend the knee, open it to the right. Now my tendency here is to collapse into that right side. I'm going to pull the right hip back. I'm going to lift my left palm if that makes you stable. If not, keep it on the floor. And I'm going to open my heart. Getting as long as I can on that left side. And that right hip moves back, so I'm stretching, breathing. Remember, not holding your breath, especially in postures like this. We're engaged, we're fully active, so we tend to clamp down on our breath, where this is the opportunity to breathe deep. Left hand comes back to the floor. Left leg gets long. Left foot moves outside the left hand. Right knee down. Hands to hips. Stretch. Good. From that position, arms up. From here, cactus. Again, we're moving the ribs back and moving the belly back. So we're opening our heart, but we're staying nice and connected to the stability of our spine. Couple rounds of breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms up, stretch. Good. From that, left hand goes out, right hand comes to that left knee. Now we can start by looking over towards the left a little bit. We don't want to crowd our shoulders. We want to move the shoulder blades down our back. If you're comfortable, maybe stretch that left arm back as you deepen that twist. Continue to stay active in that center line of the body. And breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left arm up. Left hand down, right knee lifts. Step that left leg back. boom, downward dog. Now, go back to my profile position. From here, we're going to work one of my favorite poses, which is the lunging warrior, okay? So those of you who know me know that this is a posture that we do almost every class. We'll start moving towards the right, so take your left leg back up. From that, bring your left foot between your hands. Right heel is going to come down. Now, in profile, our left hand is going to come on the inside of our left foot. I'm going to switch around here so we can see how that activates that left hip. Now, that left hip is pulling back. Left knee is 90 degrees. Hands are on the inside of that left foot. Now, we can stay here, but we don't want to forget about that right foot. So push from the right hip into the right pinky side. Again, activating that inner right thigh. Walk your hands further, just a touch. Okay? Now, this is a good place to be if you want to hang out here for a few breaths. Otherwise, transition your hands off to the right, just off the mat will do, and you're going to lean into the left side, stretching. So moving the body away from the hands. And we'll breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk it back to the left. Roll to the ball mound of your right foot. Now, we're going to come into a low lunge in this position. A little bit narrower pelvis, but we're more open now. Arms come up, stretch, reach. Move it into cactus. Stretch the shoulders back, pull the ribs back, pull the belly back. Stay open in your heart for 5. Now, from here, remember, that left foot can get a little heavier and you isometrically can pull it back, which is simply going to drop your hips down a little bit, stretching that right hip flexor and thigh. We want to keep that tailbone moving down ever so slightly for 3, 2, 1. Hands down, right knee lifts, back into downward dog, stretch it back. Breathe. Couple rounds of breath. Find your dog pose, bend your knees. Remember, not rounding, stretching, getting length. Second side, right foot comes up. Right foot moves to the center of the mat. Now as you move it forward, place it. Left foot comes down. Right heel, left heel alignment. Left foot is heavy, right hand on the inside. That right hip pulls back. That right knee stays 90 degrees. We can stay here. We can move it forward. We can even move it off to the left. Now stretch, again, we're falling away from the hands. You can even get to the point, maybe your hands get light and they come off the floor, but your actions are stemming from your hips and your legs, so your action is super engaged. Your hands are so light because the energy is in the legs that they come off the floor. Good, release the hands back, walk it to the right, back to the left knee, hands to hips, shoulders back. Remember, right foot can get a little heavier. Isometrically pull it back, tailbone moves down. We move into Anjaneyasana, stretch up, move into cactus. We'll hold here for 5. Breath is moving for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Left knee lifts, right leg back, downward dog. Now, this will be the last downward dog of our practice today before we do some work on the floor. So take a couple minutes just to enjoy the stretch. Breathe into the posture and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels high, knees down. Inhale, scoot your knees about mat width, okay, they can be shy of. Bring your arches together and set your hips back towards your heels. Now, you can rest on your forearms. We're going to do one posture from here, or you can stretch your arms all the way out like a child's pose, but you're active. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Forehead can rest on the floor. You're breathing. for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Slowly lift your gaze, walk your hands back, and then from that position, bring your knees together and sit back on your heels. If this is uncomfortable, I'm going to turn so I'm facing you all. If that's uncomfortable, then absolutely come to a cross-legged seated position. Okay? Now, from here, we're going to sit tall. We're going to move our shoulders back. Our core is active. Let your hands rest comfortably on your legs. Just take a couple rounds of breath. We've been moving the body, lots of different areas, lots of different focus, maintaining that relationship to the alignment in our breath. Taking a couple deep breaths before we make that smooth transition to our seat and to our back. Take a deep breath. Exhale fully. This might be a good time to reconnect to the intention of your practice. Our group intention was to move the body mindfully, respectfully, and that pathway towards a greater sense of well-being. And if a personal intention wasn't set in the beginning of class, maybe we set one now that the body's open and more alert. Let's come to our seat if we're not there already and extend our legs straight out. Now, if you have your block, we're going to use it in just a minute. We're going to work ourselves to our back. We're going to work a little bit more on the hip flexors. But for now, just have that block. You can use a book, and you absolutely don't need anything. Rest back on your forearms. Okay? Take the soles of the feet to the floor. Now, we don't want to collapse. We want to lift up. So root the forearms down, squeeze the legs together, take your left foot straight out. Now, from that position, we're simply going to do some leg lifts. Lift that left knee up, right in position with the right knee. Let it go down, hover. We'll do 10 of these. Move with your breath. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, switch. Right foot goes out. Left foot heavy on the floor. Re-engage, open the heart. 10. Hover at the knee, hover at the floor. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch both legs out. Now, you can pause here, maybe come to your back, take the legs all the way up so your hips are at 90 degrees. Take your arms alongside your body, palms facing down. Shoulders move into the floor. Squeeze the legs together. Let that lower back move into the floor so the femur bone is moving into the hips. Squeeze. Drop it. Squeeze. Go to 45. Now, if you have any feeling or sensation in the back that does not feel right, come out of the pose immediately. Let it hover. Good. Take it back to 90. Squeeze. Drop. 45. Hover. One more. Back to 90, maybe even a little bit more. Drop. 45. Hover. And release. From here, just stretch your arms over your head. Move your heels forward, pull your toes back and stretch. Now, we're going to do one more little bit of hip release here. Let me grab my block. And from this position, come to soles of the feet on the floor. Take your block in this position, lift your hips, and place the block directly underneath your sacrum, that flat part of your lower back. And of course, this can be done without the block. So let there be stability from the floor or the block. Take your feet off. Make sure that there's no pinching. Okay? feet back to the floor. Now, we're going to do the same thing we just did, but we're going to offer a little bit more range of motion. Arms alongside your body. Left leg goes out. Inhale, left leg all the way up. Let it hover. 10 of them. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. Breathing. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Switch. Strong right leg. 10 on the right side. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. Now this time, 2, I'm going to end with my right leg all the way out. Now, if you find any discomfort in the hips or the lower back, simply release the block, okay? Let the left leg stretch out. Let your toes roll open. Maybe even stretch your arms over your head. Breathing fully. Just letting those hip flexors, letting the psoas, letting your thigh stretch. Breathe. We did a lot of concentration on that today, so this is a nice restorative posture to be in. Now, you're welcome to stay here for a few minutes longer or a little bit longer. I'm going to move on to the next section before we enter Shavasana. So allow the soles of the feet to hit the floor. Lift your hips slowly, just enough space to release the block from underneath. Now, as a release, you slowly drop your hips down to the floor. And then lift your feet off the floor just a little bit. Let that lower back settle into the floor. And then just take your hands and kind of come to a tight little ball. Maybe move the knees around a little bit. And then from that position, come back to your back. And then come into a happy baby pose. So arms on the inside. Grab the pinky sides of your feet. And always remember, if you can't quite grab your feet, take it behind the knees and lift your feet so they face the sky. Shoulders are back. The same position again, hands behind the knees. Okay. Breathe, stretch. Maybe take one leg out, stretch the hamstrings, bring it back, stretch. Shoulders are back. And then from that position, slowly draw the soles of the feet together. Interlace your hands. Drop the heels down just a little bit. Move your knees forward. Lift your chest if that's comfortable. Core engaged. Now, final little stretch for the hips. Maybe we separate our feet a couple inches. Hands remain on the feet. And then try to pull the feet apart, but resist with your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back into happy baby pose. Stretch. Take a breath. And then offer the knees back in towards your chest. Squeeze in. And then from that position, let's slowly move into a seated posture comfortably. Now, if you'd like to take Shavasana at this point, you're welcome to. I'm going to do a little breathing work before we officially close class. So as you come to your seated posture, let your hands rest comfortably. Find that position that we established early on, that foundation of the body. Sit bones moving into the floor, core engaged. It should become much easier now that the body is open and we've moved for almost 50 minutes. Shoulders are back, heart is open. Taking some deep rounds of breath. Just allowing that breath to move in and out the body. Deeply. Take a moment to recall the intentions of this practice. We offer the right hand into the heart space. The left hand follows. We offer a deep, full breath. We bow our heads to our heart. And the divine within me honors and respects the divine within you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for practicing with me. Some more videos will be up starting next week. I appreciate the support. Be well, be safe, be happy. Namaste.